Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be flying a new airline to the channel. The airline that we'll be flying today is Aurigny. They're a small regional airline based from Guernsey and the Channel Islands that fly one Embraer 195, 4 ATR-72s, and the aircraft that we'll be flying today, the Dornier 228. And we'll be flying the Dornier today from here at Southampton to Alderney and then onwards to Guernsey. The reason Aurigny operate the Dornier 228 is Alderney only has a runway that's 800 meters long, so their larger ATR-72s can't operate into the airport. Flights on board the Dornier 228 don't allow for online check-in, so you have to get your boarding pass the old-fashioned way from the counter. Then after that I headed through security to find that most shops still remain closed despite English COVID restrictions being fairly relaxed. After a short wait, the aircraft for today's flight arrived in. We were then shown a safety video inside the terminal building before the boarding process began. This is Golf Oscar Alpha Uniform Romeo, a 9-year-old Dornier 228NG. Aurigny operated 4 of these, but after a fleet review 2 of these have now been put up for sale. The Dornier 228 carries 19 passengers in a 1-aisle-1 configuration, and despite being tight, you're still given 76 centimeters of legroom, which is more than most Airbus A320s. And then not long after that, we began our taxi out to runway 02. The cruising altitude for today's flight would be just 6,000 feet, and as the Dornier 228 lacks a flight attendant or galley, there would be no food or drink service. And after cruising for just 20 minutes, we began our descent into Alderney and would be landing today using runway 08. Passengers arriving from Southampton have to head through the new COVID testing UK arrivals building, which is nothing more than a wooden shed. Alderney is a part of a Crown dependency, meaning that officially it's not a part of the UK, but then again isn't its own country. So it lies in this weird spot between being a domestic and international destination, as all other domestic flights within the UK don't require any COVID tests. But then after being processed and given a COVID test kit for my departure, I then started walking around Alderney during my 4-hour stay. Despite only being here for 4 hours, this was enough time to walk around the entire island as it's only 5 miles wide. Alderney was originally a part of the Duchy of Normandy, but after William the Conqueror invaded England in 1066, Alderney along with the rest of the Channel Islands became British. The islands have remained mainly British since 1066, but due to the fact that they lie so much closer to France, in World War II the UK didn't want to waste resources defending the islands from the Nazis, and so they moved all the residents to the mainland UK, and the islands were occupied by the Nazis from 1940 to 1945. Alderney is home to just over 2,000 residents and features everything you would expect from a small town. And after exploring for a few hours, I then headed back towards the airport. While the airport opened in 1935, it remained nothing more than a small landing strip until 1968 when the small terminal building was opened. The airport has 3 runways, 2 grass and 1 main asphalt runway 880 meters long. Because of this, many types of unique short takeoff and landing aircraft have been used to ferry passengers into the airport, but probably the most famous of which was the Britten Norman Trislanders, which used to operate flights to Guernsey, Jersey, Southampton, Brighton, Bournemouth, Exeter, Plymouth and even Cherbourg in France. However, sadly, Aurigny retired the aging Trislanders in 2015 and they were replaced with the Dornier 228s. The Dornier 228s only fly to Southampton and Guernsey is where we're going to be flying next. The aircraft I'll be taking is the exact same I flew a few hours earlier, but this time I was sat in seat 1A. And after everyone was on board, we began our taxi out to runway 08. After takeoff, we then headed west towards Guernsey, and what you're seeing now is a sped up version of the entire flight. At just 25 miles between runways, this flight is like flying from London Heathrow to London Gatwick. And after cruising at just 2,000 feet, we then landed at Guernsey using runway 09. introduction, my bad.
Well, it's Jeff.
Some of you may know who he is.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. This is such a surprise as well.
It ended up on the same flight.
Yeah, this is crazy, but
Will you link to my video?
I will.
And if I tell people to like and subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, sure,
Like
okay.
and subscribe to his channel.
Thank you. A promise is of course a promise, so you can check out Jeff's video linked at the end of this one. It was definitely a surprise meeting him, but a welcome one at that, and we continued on my next flight together too. So with that, I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.